You just forgot to take down the little picture.
But I did it. I got it in time. So, hi, Mama D. I've
I know.
had a rough week this week. I have been running around ragged because I'm going away tomorrow morning. Nice
Where
and
you
bright.
going? Where you going? Where you going?
I'm going up to see my daughter and my family. I haven't seen my family in like 2 years since COVID hit. So I'm going up to the haunted overload up in New Hampshire with my daughter again.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the 6 hour drive to Massachusetts, the 3 hour drive to New Hampshire, but then we're going to be running around all weekend. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see her. And then when we get back, I'm going to go see my parents and my brothers, my sisters before I come back. And it's going to be just a relaxing, good day.
Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, just a quick one. I have a step counter on my phone, right? It's this part of the phone thing. I forget about it. I'm supposed to do 5,900 steps a day. Okay, you know that this body does not walk far, okay? Up to now, guess how many steps I did today?
20.
666.
Really? Well, we have a fitness expert on with
Yeah,
us
so
tonight. So, yeah, we
she's gonna get my butt in gear.
well, she's going to get both our butts in gear. She's going to hopefully get us all healthy and get our butts in gear. And I'm going to play a short little video that explains more about who she is and what she does. And if this is just a little bit of what she does, but she's amazing. You guys are going to love her.
Yes.
Good evening. I am Gina B. here with Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here in the Fox Den. Tonight we have Emily A. Francis. She is a highly sought-after speaker, best-selling author, and wellness expert with an array of education and experience spanning over 20 years. Her knowledge of the body as well as the body-mind connection is extensive, and her commitment to total body, mind, and spirit wellness is her driving force. She believes in a whole-body, proactive approach to wellness where balance is the key and kindness paves the way. Emily is the host of the internet radio show All About Healing on Healthy Life Radio. She has a bachelor's degree in exercise science and wellness and a BS and master's in physical education, human performance concentration. Emily graduated from the Atlanta School of Massage in clinical and neuromuscular massage therapy and went on to specialize through the Dr. Vada School in North America for an MLD, CDT in manual lymphatic drainage, and combined decongestive therapy, working specifically with lymphedema. Emily holds a gold medal in the U.S. Open in Tai Chi forms, is a Yusui and Koronakai Reiki Master level practitioner, and has over 300 hours of yoga teacher training. You can find out more about Emily Francis at www.emilyafrancisbooks.com, and we welcome you to the Fox Den, Emily.
Hi,
Hello. What a
welcome to the
beautiful
madness.
introduction.
It's
Thank you.
gorgeous,
Thanks for
isn't it?
having me. And what I can't believe you guys went out of your way to do such a beautiful introduction. And it's such an honor to hear all the things put together into this whole video. I asked Gina, can I have a copy of that? Because it was incredible. So thank you. And I'm here in Malta. So greetings from the
What are you
Mediterranean.
doing in Malta? By
I
the
live
way?
in Malta now.
Yeah, because Gina told me that she's over in the UK, and I'm waiting to hear this like British accent or some kind of UK. And what do I get? No, I got American
Well,
accent.
you know, Malta and the UK are not,
They're
but
not even
the
close.
No, I
UK,
know, but
the
I didn't
UK
know
used to
Malta
own
until you
Malta.
came. Yeah,
Isn't it
but I
crazy?
didn't know
You
it
know
was
what?
Malta until you came in, and it was like,
It's amazing. There are so many people that have never heard of Malta or don't know where it is. And
oh,
honestly, when it first came up that we might move here, we had to look at it on the map and where is it? Where are we going to move? So we moved from Atlanta,
I know.
Georgia
You have to show
to the
us the.
Mediterranean, and we had never visited. We showed up, me, my husband, my children, and 4 animals came
And tell us
across.
what time it is over
nice,
there right now.
nice.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So look at that. Right. She says she's one of those people. Like you would move with just like not even seeing sight unseen. Not me. There's my baby. Hi everybody. Hey, you guys, share the show. All right, all you guys that are watching.
Yeah.
Sharon, Taryn, Colette, Bob.
We've got so many people. We've got. Do you realize we already have 12 people eavesdropping on us?
No, that's so great.
No, not move. Okay, so you're just like her though. You are. She's full of energy. She's a spitfire. I mean, you've seen all the things on the video if you watch the video. If not, just back it up and watch the video later. But a gold medal in a gold medal. We have a gold medalist on this show.
It sounds a lot better on paper. There weren't a lot of competitors, but it sounds really good.
It still counts. It still counts.
I still put it on my bio.
Heck yes.
Absolutely, I would help.
The only thing we have a gold medal in, well, the only thing I have a gold medal in is being a pain in the butt. And it's like, I'm proud of that one.
I don't know what I'd have a gold medal in, but maybe something.
Maybe something.
Designership.
Designing, yeah, decorating, designing, whatever. But it's neither here nor there. But I have to apologize because I always read the books before the show.
She
So
does.
I've been running ragged, and I haven't been able to read the book. I could have whipped right through it. However, I started reading it, and I've gotten thus far.
Okay,
but
you're good.
I'm just like, yeah. But that was just reading it. I want to actually do it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop right here because you stop. It's interactive again. It's journaling, which I love because I think
good.
that is something that everybody needs to do anyway. But I mean, it's just at the perfect times after each chapter you're journaling, And why did you set this up that way?
I set it up that way because this is my third book in the healing trilogy of what I've written. And the other books started with why do we carry pain where we carry pain? And then the next book was where do we go when we start having pain? How do we track it? And then where do we go to help clear it?
Right.
And this book, Healing Ourselves Whole, is what is the work we do alone? What is the work that you can do by yourself without any therapies, without any, healing hands and all this, your own healing hands? What can I teach a client instead of having to come to me or to a specific person to empower themselves and learn to listen to what their body is saying? Because that is something we are not taught. And the muscles really do engage in dialogue with us all the time, not just the muscles, every part of our body. Pain. Well, sometimes our bodies go, but no, that's not really true. I mean, it's always signaling something. And so what if I could hand over 25 years of study of anatomy and physiology and the way that our bodies communicate with us, because it's nothing like the way we chew it up in the mind. So in the mind, we dissect it, try to figure it out, try to make a pathway with it. How do we work with this? But in the body, it's just saying, look, I need you to hear me. I've been in pain. It's not random. Something has been going on for a really long time, and we have to get to this area, or I'm going to keep signaling because you're not listening. And so I say this because it starts as a whisper, and then it starts as a little knock or chronic pain, reoccurring pain in the same area. And then it comes into a destruction because we haven't listened to all these early signs. And this is where dis-ease comes from. Because I think we've spent so much time in our minds, in our heads, but not enough time actually feeling ourselves in our bodies and go, you know what? Oh, that was really sweet, that comment.
Yeah. No, it's 2 a.m. and I just woke up. I wouldn't look like good as you.
I put on a little makeup. I tried to brush my hair. I was going to do dry shampoo, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a headset on.
Yeah.
And glasses. You always know I'm wearing my reading glasses when I look a little haggard.
I love the couple of kids and then
I got mine here.
there we go. We're all going to be on.
That's how you can, if you know me and you see videos and I'm wearing glasses, it's because I look haggard, but also because I wear reading glasses. So I like to have them on at the computer. But anyway, so the body's signaling. So I wanted to journal, which by the way, on my website, Healing Ourselves Whole, the journals are free. And the audio meditations are free. So you can go and listen to those and journal, because if we don't journal after we've listened to our bodies, I promise you will forget what your body said. You just will.
Exactly. Even when you go, all right, I need to write down something when I walk into the room for something. because by the time I get from this room to the next room, I forgot what I'm going in there for. I need to write it down. So let alone what you read in here, right?
I don't write books that make you sit cover to cover. It's not the way I write.
No, it's
And
definitely
so
not.
I write for you to skip around as needed. Because the truth is, you read the whole heavy part of the book, but the
Mm,
second half of the book is to access that joy and things that are good. Because our muscle memories you're not just a ball of trauma. So our muscle memories that store trauma and the negative experiences of life also store your positive experiences of life. And you can dig into that body to release joy expression and tap into it to build and create a connectivity that maybe right now you're not necessarily operating on. And this book is based on hands-on body work. So this is not get up and get moving. This is get in and get listening.
all right, let me just show. This is all your other books. Is this all of
I'm
them?
gonna have to go
That's all of
shopping.
them.
Okay. So you also, because you do the yoga training and everything, and the whole body healing and the body heals itself. Now those
Mhm.
books, I mean, I want to talk about those too, because in combination with this,
That's my
like,
trilogy.
yeah, is like the whole package.
That is my trilogy. Truly, The Body Heals Itself, the first one that you just showed, this first one in my healing trilogy, this is the foundation, honestly, of all my work. And it started when I was in massage school because I've always loved muscles, but I didn't love them the way that I love them now. And when I was in massage school, and my teacher
I'll let
still
you
does
love
not
my
remember
muscles.
this.
You can love my
I, I
muscles.
can love your muscles. I would help you back in a heartbeat because I know it's been hurting. But I was sitting in class at massage school, and we were learning the psoas muscle, which is that hip flexor muscle located between the pubic bone and the hip bone.
That's
It
her.
allows you to sit down and stand up.
That's her
That's what
problem.
I heard.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. You're
Yeah.
psoas, PSOAS. So I'm sitting in massage school and they're going to teach us how to treat the psoas. And
Hmm.
my teacher just slips in there for a moment and he still doesn't remember this or claim it. And he said, "Now you have to be really careful because it's one of the most emotional muscles in the body. So when you treat this muscle, people likely will cry on the table because it absorbs so much emotion."
Oh.
And it like my whole body went, "What?" And I waited till the class was over and I went to him and I said, "How do you know that? How do you know that that's an emotional muscle? Where's the book?" And he said, "Oh, there's no book." And I said, "Well, then how do you know this?" And he said, "I don't know. It's just been passed down through the generations that we just know it." And in
Hmm.
my mind that day, it was like, I'm going
That,
to write
that was
that
your
book. I'm going
that
to
was
write
your
that book.
aha
And it
moment.
took 12 years before I got a publisher and could actually put all this. And I always have a theory. I have a theory on everything. I always have these theories. I mean, literally, I now write for the tourism magazine for Malta and I interview local farmers and fishermen and learn food practices here. So, yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was interviewing for olive oil
Ooh.
and it's all these different olives and he has this sacred white olive tree and they're doing a lot of research with the university on the antioxidants of olive oil and I look up and I see a peacock walking by. He's got all these animals and I looked at the
Oh my
camera
god.
guy and I said, "I have a theory that you have fully made it in Malta if you own a peacock." And he started laughing, but I realized I have
How
all
many
these like
people? Yeah. So
funny
now you gotta
things that
go
I
find
keep
out.
up with.
Go find out how many people have peacocks now.
It is
Register.
so odd to watch.
You have
It
to
was all
register
these
them.
roosters and chickens and donkeys and Malta's very built up. So not a lot of people have land here. Land is phenomenally precious in Malta because
Yeah.
Malta is a teeny tiny spot on the grid of the world and land is almost unheard of here. And so to be on this olive tree with olive groves for days and all these animals just chilling out walking by and then you see a peacock. It's like
Yep.
that's it. He's made it. He has made it. This has
This is
hit a
it.
whole different level. But, but I have these theories even on that. But I have these like made up. But on the body, I had these theories. Okay, the more that people were coming to me with pains in the same area, the more that I was able to track the emotion that was in that space. And then you can, like, when I sat down with a Chinese medicine person and I said, "You said, Mama D, that you're a pain in the butt, right?" And my first thought was, "Your butt is aggravation and suppression." It's the feelings and emotions that we sit on that we don't express. So when
Yes,
somebody
it
like
is.
makes you mad and you're like, "Oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna do it." And you sit on it. And then your muscle goes, okay, I'll take that. And then it keeps doing that. And then you wonder, and you're like, oh, I must have worked out hard. Something's going on in my butt, my glute. But then when a therapist gets on there and sticks their elbow in, you get angry and sweaty. You break out in sweat and you're like, I thought butt massage was supposed to feel good. Not on my table. Not on my table. Nobody ever promised that. And so when they do it, like, may I give an example?
Yes.
Okay, so the glutes. I was working on this woman. I used to work on her and her husband in the mornings. And I had just treated her whole body face up. I decided, let's face up today and then we'll turn you over. I had done the whole body, nothing on the front side, nothing issuing. She rolls over. I start on the feet, no problem. Legs, no problem. Glutes. She is livid. I mean, she turned around. She's like, what the heck is that? What are you trying to do? And she was like, and in my mind, I was like, wait for it. Wait for it. And she turned around and she goes, did I tell you that my ex-husband just died? And I said, no. And she goes, did I tell you what his new wife left in the obituary? And I said, no. And she goes, yeah, she actually wrote in the obituary that he's survived by his hot new wife. And all of a sudden, the glute muscles that were like, went, no more pain. And I looked at her and I said, what made you think of that right now? I mean, during a massage, while I've treated you 45 minutes in, what made you think of that? And she goes, I don't know. It just came to me. And in my mind, it was like, there's another one. There's another one. Glutes, aggravation and suppression, these unspoken thoughts and feelings. And you're finally in a safe place because you don't want your new husband to hear you being upset. Right. Yeah. So now you're in this private place with the massage therapist who couldn't give a crap what the rest of your life looks like, right? We're in this, we're present, and then we're out of there. So we don't carry their business. They can say whatever they want because it doesn't affect me. I just get to be the board that you can, throw it at. So I'm really mad.
My massage girl, Rebecca, oh yeah, she knows everything.
They know everything. My massage therapist, my hairdressers, they know things that I would never tell other people. Yeah. See, because you're in a safe place and they don't know anybody you know, and they don't care. And it's not that they don't care, like I don't care what's going on with you. It's that they don't have any attachment to the outside
there's
world.
There's no connection, no, and so no emotional connection.
And you can say anything you want. So I have listened for 20 years to people tell me things that they would never tell someone else. Right. And it happens when the body's releasing and saying, you know what, this really pissed me off.
So what
and I've been holding
here with the women that get that hump right here.
Well, the Dowinger's hump is not emotional. That's actually structural. So that happens over years and years of terrible posture, never holding yourself up, not, emotionally, I would say not having the self-confidence to be up, but it's also physically, it's a postural issue.
Yeah.
And you watch their vertebrae is very different than ours.
Yeah. And the thing is, we have to stop and think to make it, because I do that at work. I sit down all day long because I can't stand, and everybody knows I did the splits 2 years ago. At 57 years old, it's not a good idea.
Nice. Oh,
not a good idea. No, it hurts. But I do that. I'm at a keyboard, so I'm like this. I'm on the phone, so it's like it just every so often I just kind of like, because I think of that the women with the humps in the back and the curves, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be this.
Because I get tension in there too, and she's like, well, you can prevent that tension and everything else by just screaming, like just releasing all
coming out of the front side,
because it will like loosen everything up in there. So I would do that. And just scream.
I do that with clients. Now I'm wearing my citrine right now. This is for throat chakra.
Let me see that.
It's citrine. It's Energy Muse.
Did you ever have anyone who just let out of gas?
Everyone.
Curious.
Everyone that's on the massage table lets out gas, whether you think the therapist knows or not, because it doesn't matter. So I always add another blanket. And then if there's certain people, like I used to work at a Premier Health Spa up there in Lenox, Massachusetts, up in the Berkshires, and people would come there to get very healthy, and they would eat these muffins that were like a colonic. They were like a little muffin felt like 20 pounds in the body, and it would like clean you out. And people would come, they're eating their little veggie muffin and their drink bars, juice bars, and they'd get on the table, and it was like a factory of gas, and they were mortified. Like there was a man that walked up to the massage room, looked at me and kept walking, and then went to the bathroom and then came back, and he was like, I'm so uncomfortable. I'm about to get a massage and I'm so fearful I'm going to be gassy. And I was like, oh, everybody's gassy here. That's sort of the point because you're speeding up the body systems and
Hmm.
it's a natural thing. But people get, I mean, it's very uncomfortable to pass gas on the table, especially if it goes out loud. But the truth is, again, this is a non-attachment thing, you know? So
Yeah.
like I know that your body's releasing, I know things are moving, and a massage increases your metabolism and
Hmm.
the metabolic forces for 24 hours. So you're speeding up the whole body system. And then,
Yeah.
especially for me who does like lymphatic work, we do the stomach. So we're going in the direction of the colon. I mean, I can put my hands on a baby and tell exactly where the poop is stuck and help get it moving a little bit from massage
Oh, so many
because
babies
it's all
need
right
it.
there.
Oh my
So many
God.
people need it, you know, and I treat stomach more often than probably most therapists because for lymphatic work, you do all the parts of the body that you never touch in a regular massage. So all the endangerment sites for deep tissue or for muscular massage are where you do for lymphatic. So the lymphatic, you're doing the neck, the armpits, the middle of the chest, you're doing the ribs, you're doing the whole stomach, all in the direction of the colon. You're doing the inner thighs, which is called the inguinals. It's where all the lymphatic vessels are, and you're doing the back of a knee, places that you wouldn't touch on a regular massage. And the thing about lymphatic work is the lymphatic system is what we call a negative system, which means that you have to start top to bottom. So if you go for lymphatic and you've got somebody at the spa instead of like a real serious therapist, if you have real issues,
Hmm.
if they don't start with your neck, get off the table. Get off. Because if they haven't started here, nothing is going to clear. Nothing. And then you're going to have
Well,
a
it kind of
backup.
makes sort of
And you know
sense.
what else?
When we do a meditation, you start filling from the top
You
down.
go, yep, you
Exactly. That's
clear.
the only way to
But
clear it
this
out.
neck first, because you do the face after. You don't do the face first on this. The lymph is because the lymphatic actually dumps into the Dr. Vauder calls it the terminus, but it's a made up term. But it dumps into this area right above the collarbones, and
Okay.
that's where the whole body dumps, and then it goes down into the whole body until it comes out of the urine, the lymphatic, the extra lymph. You know, because you kind of wonder like you're getting because
Remember when we were talking before when we did our test last week, and I told you I was just going to the chiropractor because I was really had
yes,
bad back, and I was telling you about my voice. I asked him about that. We get
yeah.
all done, correct
Did he do
me,
it?
all that stuff. Yeah, he did it. He actually, it's like he kind of shifted that out. He moved the things down, but then he did this like thing like this,
Judy.
and I could actually, I wish I could do it myself, but you can't. Like you can go like this way, but you turn it in and you just can't. I
It's
can't.
only on the hyoid bone. There's only one movable bone in the
Yeah,
whole trachea,
yeah.
one bone
So
that can
I
go
can't.
side to
I
side.
can't. Yeah, I can't do it. But it did help my voice for that
Is it
day.
supposed to click when you do
I'm
that?
so glad. Well, that would mean we call it crepitus, which means like bone on bone, not a lot of cartilage. So
Yeah,
when it
my bones.
clicks, there's some
Yeah,
crepitus
yeah, my
junky
bones.
junk in there.
My bones are fusing here because of all the accidents I had when I was younger, and
Oh,
it's like I got whiplash so many times. So like my neck does
yeah.
go.
You have to have that work then.
Yeah, so these are fusing together. They look like if you look at the X-ray, it looks like points, like little beaks that go down where
Mm,
it should be like the little cutoff things, so
or should
that
be. Mm.
they're getting
That's
together.
very painful. I'm glad
Um,
you have a good chiropractor.
yeah, so I was like, but he didn't think to do that until I talked to you. You suggested that. I said it to him, and he said, "Wow, we really need to work more on this thing." And
Really do. You know,
so,
unless you practice that, you don't realize how important it is because very few therapists work the front of the neck.
Hmm.
And we learned it in massage school because I went to such a highly clinical specialized training. But
okay.
most people had never because when I did the TMJ advanced training,
Mm.
I was the only person in the course that even had any idea what this was or how to treat it. And so the teacher had me treat her to pass like her exam and then I became her assistant and then I would help teach the other students because
And
it's such
massage.
an incredibly ticky area to be here.
Yep, massage is what fixed my TMJ. I had that stupid thing to pull my jaw forward and everything,
And then
and
you go in and release the muscles.
yeah, and it was the massage girl. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, two things. But when I have a question, I generally stick my hand up because then I'm not interrupted. Two things. What is TMJ? And if somebody's going to get a massage for the first time, what would be the first massage that you would recommend them to go for?
Not that one. not the stuff with the TMJ unless they've had an injury. So
Because TMJ
TMJ
to
is
me
your
is too much
temporal
jam.
mandibular joint. Temporal mandibular joint. It's in the jaw. So when you
Banana.
open your mouth, if you hear any sort of clicking, it's up
Uh-huh.
here high in the jaw.
Yeah.
And I actually put on gloves and go inside your mouth. So
Okay.
people come to me because there's injuries.
Thorough.
People don't come to me to go, I really need to relax. I'm not your person for that.
Yeah.
I'm never your person for that.
Right.
I'm your person for
Right.
you need me specifically for
Go
my training. And the putting on the gloves and going inside the mouth will change your life. Now, unfortunately, more states than less, it's illegal for massage
Why?
to do TMJ because they make up these ridiculous rules and every state has a different licensure if they even have a licensure. And then what happens is the physical therapists push back really hard on massage because they don't want massage in their field of physical therapy. And so
Okay.
massage therapists have much less
Me too, Jojo.
opportunity than the PTs and people because PTs are covered by insurance. Massage is not.
Because the
It
only
can
time
be.
I got a massage once, my kids paid for me for a day at the spa.
Once you've
I
had
was
once.
in heaven.
Okay, see,
The only
and you know what's
Weekly.
amazing? If you go to the
Weekly.
spa and you have a massage, you walk away thinking that massage therapist
Oh
is
no,
the
I
best in the
learned.
world.
Yeah, no, I learned when I did what I did, and the insurance sent me to the physical therapy. I had a physical therapy massage, and this girl,
Totally different.
she was 5 foot nothing, and she was petite, but my God, she as you said,
Beat the heck,
but
right?
my I did
They do
I just
elbows.
got that close to crying. And she goes, "Are you gonna cry?" I'm like, "No, I swear," because I didn't want her to feel bad. But it hurt, but it
I don't
felt
think
good.
she'll feel bad. You know what? Even
I
me,
didn't know.
if you can see, my elbows come with a hook. Do you see how they're like
Oh, yeah,
hooked?
look at that.
They're
Yeah,
like
right.
naturally, and I can get under those bones
Yeah, it's right
and
here
do
under my
things
shoulder
that
blade.
other I get under those shoulder blades
Train
and
ride
strip
from
it down.
Minnesota to Pennsylvania.
Okay, so what was the first massage
Okay.
people should go
First
for?
massage people, if they're just going to relax, they should look for a Swedish massage or a hot stone therapy or a specific infused oil with essential oils. Go to something relaxing to first get used to somebody touching your body in that way
Yeah.
because that's different than even a partner. A massage is a very sacred practice, and
Yeah.
you are being touched all over. You're draped. If you're not being draped accordingly, also get off the table. There's a lot of there's a half and half with massage in the industry because there are a lot of people that take advantage of your vulnerability. Not tons, but I hear more stories than I care to admit. And then you have these really fantastic therapists that take really good care of your body. They have to make you feel safe. If I don't create a safe space for you, I don't know what I would do. So that's why I explain everything I'm doing and why. And I'm having a conversation with your body instead of really like, hey, how are you? What's going on? Instead, it's like, listen, I don't even need to hear what's going on with you. Let me ask your body, and then
Yeah.
I'll ask you.
You're just
Yeah.
like Becky was. I miss her so much. Oh my God. I cannot find anyone like her. And you are.
Well,
Because
they
she's
are
so
out there, but
scared.
they're not the
Very
norm.
scared.
They're not the norm. It
No,
is hard.
absolutely not. Because
Ask
I've
for
worked with a lot.
credentials. Word of mouth is always good, but by somebody that you really respect that knows body work. The other place that I would highly suggest is find your local massage school and start there because it's super discounted because they're students. They have a teacher overlooking, so they are straight legit, and it's a third of the price, so you can go more often.
So
Yeah.
I did that, right? When Becky got out of massage school, um, it was her and her husband at the time that went to school together. They learned from the same teacher, they learned the same techniques. They were completely different.
Isn't that
Oh yeah.
interesting?
Yep. And then another girl, because she couldn't do me one time for 1 week, because I had to come every week because I did physical labor. I couldn't work without her, really, you know. And so it was like she said, well, this girl I went to school with too, and sometimes she works on me. She goes, would you mind having her come? And I said, no, we'll try. So she comes. She was horrible. I mean, she was horrible. And you know what I did? I was just like, I called up Becky after. I thought, I'm like, it's not your fault, I said, I just feel bad for you because if she's the one that has to work on you and what you do for people, I feel bad for you because
You
she
know,
gives
yeah.
she gives. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
There's a relationship that happens with the person's nervous system and your hands, and it doesn't generally happen on time one. So I always do say too, give it more than one try to make sure that they are not the right. But if you feel that way, if you're like, wow, but you have this thing where you love that. I have a few different therapists in my arsenal for what I need. Like if there's somebody, like when the love of my life dog was dying, I called my dear friend that went to massage school with me and I said, can I come over? Can I come over and have you work on me and just let me cry? Just let me cry so that my body does not retain this pain.
Hmm.
Oh, because I couldn't, but I knew she was the one I needed to call that day. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like, hey, I need legit body work. No, I need to lay on your table and cry. And I just want your hands on me. And I don't care. I don't care if you go deep. I don't care if you go soft. I don't care. Just
Yeah.
let me cry. And there was a time that I went back to massage school and I had one of the students working on me. And it was right after my pumpkin did pass away. And I got on the table and cried. I was supposed to do this interview. I was supposed to be on camera, and I've got this mascara down my face. I was so hysterical. I went from the room where there were several people getting massage to where the owner of the massage school was like, I'm going to put you in my office and I'm going to bring the therapist here because I could not control myself, which I have to say, if you can get on a massage table and let your body release while loving touch is touching you with nothing expected on the reciprocating line, you
Hmm.
can heal in a way that 10 years of therapy would not compare to, because your body is releasing things that have been stored for so long that people a lot of times will come and go, wow, I feel like I just had 5 years of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying don't go to therapy. I'm saying use them both. But if
Yeah.
we disregard the part that our body plays in our healing, we are missing more than half of the ability for our bodies to heal,
Hmm.
because we are not finding an outlet. And I like journaling because in my mind, I went through years of really bad anxiety and panic. I think that anxiety is creativity with no place to go. And
Yes,
writing is what
because you
gave
get
me the exit point.
exactly. You got to get it out of here, down there, and then
It
it's just like,
cannot, this stuff can't stay in your body. And once you get, and I will say, I've always been in tune with my body. I've always exercised and meditated, a lot of different things, but nothing put me in touch with my body the way that being a student in massage school, because you're spending 3-hour classes for one group of muscles. And by the time that you leave massage school, you have this intuitiveness inside your body that is like nothing that you can compare to, because now it's like I feel anything that's, even my sister was in a car accident and she called me that morning. She had lost her voice, so I knew we had to do the longest coli work and get her voice back, and I wanted to help the body dialogue so not to hold the trauma. And I had my hands on the back of her head and I could literally feel the thoughts trickling into the body and starting to settle. And I realized it happened. So I can't change the dynamic of the facts, but I can change the depth to which the body's going to hold it.
Yeah.
Because when you get on a massage table, you'll be surprised to find out that people will be holding from a car accident that happened 20 years prior and they won't remember it. And then you get on there and you're like, did something happen in this area? And they go, I mean, I was a kid, I was in a wreck, this happened. And your body's going, I've been waiting for you to find me, find me. I want to leave with you.
yeah.
Let's
Oh, I
go.
know. Even driving down the highway with Bob. Bob's driving, and I'll be like, I'm grabbing the old shit bar
Hmm.
in the
Me too.
thing, because I'm just like, I'm like, and he's like, will you stop it? You're gonna make me get into an accident. And I'm like, I can't help it. I've been in accidents. When you get close to a truck, it's like, here's the truck. You're gonna ride right here where the truck
Mhm.
can't see you. It's
Where
like,
you can't see you.
get past them. Just go. Just
This
go.
is exactly why I wrote this book. Let me tell you this. The
I'm gonna
exactly
have to
why I
get
wrote
that
this
book.
book is this thought. If you are in a car accident, and I always use this as my example because it's the less intrusive. If you're in a car accident, your memory around the actual accident becomes hazy because your mind ejects itself from the body in the moment of impact, because it's the gift of the mind. You separate from the body, whether it's a physical accident and abuse. People talk about hovering over their bodies so they can handle it, so that they can survive it. Okay, so the body and the mind disconnect. But the body doesn't have an eject button. And so all those things that happened that your mind can't fully comprehend anymore and is open to interpretation, your body
Hmm.
has the exact facts. There's no
Yeah.
shifting what happened to
Makes
the
sense.
body. And this is the work, then
Yeah.
why we have a journal and why we have a meditation, so that you can go into the body, because you think that you know why your body's holding what trauma. But then
Mhm.
when you go in and start listening, the story that your body has may not even be the same day as what you're associating and thinking, oh, I have this issue because this happened 10 years ago. But your body might be saying, actually, you know what? It was when your teacher said this out loud and I never could get over it. And I'm holding that pain in here. And so when you had that accident, it hit the same place. But the deeper root is this old pattern,
Yep.
and I mean, it's fascinating because your body doesn't have an eject. So everything is factual when you're going into the body, and you're reminded of things that you may have let go of and thought, well, that's not that big of a deal, because your mind can process and go, hey, that shouldn't cause you that much pain. And your body's saying, no, I'm still 7 and that hurts, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so it's learning that community. Now, I will tell you, I love this book so much, but I have to say honestly, it's my first book ever picked up in audio. I love it more in audio.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's not my voice. It's a woman named Stina Nielsen, and I chose her. And her voice is perfect. It has no accent. It's a perfect American English. And I really, when I listen to her, it's really, except for the fact that she butchers the word fascia. She calls it fasci, which like makes my skin crawl. But outside of that, it is a perfectly executed book. And when I listen to it, I have to
But can you
say
just edit
it's more
that little
valuable.
spot? Can you
Except
edit
for the
that little?
fasci. When I heard that, I was like, oh no.
Well, that, some people get a little touchy too with the chakras. It's either a chakra, or whatever.
People get really attached. Like
They
technically, because it's from the Hindu, they say chakra. But for an American, we say chakra, because
say,
Americans decided that our language is the best language and everyone else should bow to us. This is what I've learned moving out of
absolutely,
America. Moving out of America made me realize that I'm a little bit of a douchebag and I don't even realize it, because all of a sudden you're like, you say things and you're like, wow, it was completely rude. And you have to like back up and go, okay, I'm now the foreigner. I am now on their territory and I need to back it up, because as an American, we don't even realize that you're taught it, but you are taught, born and bred, that you are the best. Everybody else is under. Do you remember My Big Fat Greek Wedding? And he says,
yeah,
there's Greeks and everyone who wishes they were Greek. That's
Yeah.
how I feel like with Americans. It's like you're American and everyone who wishes you're American. And then you find out that that's not actually true. They don't wish they're American, and that
not
you
now,
have kind
not
of been
now.
misled.
No, well, I used to think that way. I did. I really did. Because yeah, we were taught this our whole entire lives. And we bring world peace to everyone. And then the
Mhm.
last 6 years or so, I am like embarrassed to be an American.
It was hard to move during such a tumultuous time in world history, because you want to like run around and go, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. I swear it. I swear it. I'm kind. I'm still kind. I still love you. You know, because
Well,
people
I'm
would like hear it was really, it was
still an
hard,
asshole.
because we moved here in the middle of the pandemic. We moved here. We were the last people allowed in the borders of Malta. And America was the number one red line, not allowed on the plane, not allowed in the country. And it was odd to be in an airport layover in the Netherlands and get a piece of paper that says, if you're coming from these countries, you may not enter. And America was first.
Wow.
And I'm used to people being like, you're American? Wow. And now it's like, you don't get that at all. The most I've gotten is a kid that walked by me, because I worked at the school last year, because it was my only way to be able to see where my children were going to school. So I became the bus supervisor in the morning so that I could get into the school and meet the teachers and everything. And so I was helping the kids line up, and this kid walked by and he goes, yep, you're American. And kept walking.
How can you tell? No,
The accent.
yeah, I wear my masshole shirt.
I do.
I do. I actually pack it to take it up to because I'm going back to Massachusetts. But I am. That's what I say. I am. I live in Pennsylvania right now, but
Pennsylvania.
but I am a masshole through and through.
I'm telling you, it's been for me, living in a different country during this time in world history has been a waking up to my spirit. And it's been interesting because I can't work here. So I'm not in practice at all. My husband's company is on a grant. And I haven't been in full-time practice in years anyway, because I write. So it actually didn't affect my work because I still write books and I still have my radio show out of California. And so people all the time are like, wow, you really gave up your ego. You're not working. And I'm thinking, I am working my butt off,
I
just
know.
not
Yeah, I don't see why
like you
people would
think.
say that. Oh my God.
I know.
Like I am busy, and now I'm writing for the tourism magazine. Like I've just changed, so now my interviews are for farmers, and I'm tracking the foods. But there's always something. Like I emailed the tourism magazine and said, "Hi, I'm an American author. I want to write an article." And I said, "No, that's not true. I want to write a column." And then they wrote back and they said, "Well, full disclosure, we can't afford to pay you, but we'd love to have you." And I wrote back and said, "Full disclosure, I'm not allowed to get paid. So let's take the money discussion off the table. What can I do for you? What can you do for me? And let's make this thing happen." And so now it's a whole article called Emily in Malta. And they have a camera crew follow me. And I've met the coolest people. I mean, I was out in Gozo, the sister island of Malta, a couple weeks ago for their sea salt. And they're on Netflix, Restaurants from the Edge. And I'm up with this family who's been doing this since the 1800s, passed down with the salt pans and learning about the sea salt and eating it right off the water bench. And, it's so neat what I've gotten to do, but it's because I've put myself out there in ways that I never fully did in America. And also there's so many people in America that you don't really get you don't get a lot of opportunities like you think, because there's a million authors out there trying to do the same stuff. But here in Malta, I'm incredibly niche, and being an American author has its value. And so when I want to write something or do something, and I'm not trying to stiff you for particular money, it makes it a lot of fun. So I've gotten these opportunities, like me riding the school van. That's a paid position, but I volunteered. So usually it's older women that are retired and they ride to school with these children so that the driver can drive and the children are safe. And last year when I was signing my kids up to go to a school that I was not allowed to enter, not allowed to tour, not allowed to find their classroom, not allowed to meet their teacher because it's COVID. And so I'm sending them to a school that I have never stepped foot in. And so what do? I call the government. I would like to sign my kids up for this van to a place I still don't know how to get to because it was so hard learning to drive here. I took driving school like I'm 15 all over again for months because it's so different on the other side of the road, and the traffic is insane, and all the roads are like really 1.5 lanes for 2-lane cars. It's very stressful. And so when they said, "Oh, your van doesn't have a chaperone this year," and I said, "I'll do it." And so I rode that school bus every single day from the first day of school to the last day of school so that I could see where my kids are going to go, instead of like, "Hey, 7 and 9-year-old children in a foreign country, good luck. I hope you have a great day at school. Find your teachers, find your classroom. You're going to be great." And so instead, my daughter came home crying her eyes out because in America we call them Miss Smith or whatever, your last name. Here in Malta, they call them by their first name, Miss Caroline. So my daughter comes home thinking she was in the wrong classroom the whole day and didn't have the courage to go say, "I'm not in the right classroom."
Wow.
And so she comes home and she was like, "I was in the wrong room the whole day." And I was like, "What? What class? Miss Emily Smith." I'm going to say my name instead.
Right.
And I was like, "But that is your teacher. Mrs. Smith was your teacher, Miss Emily Smith." And she was like, "Oh."
Oh, poor Peanut.
Oh my God. And here in Malta, they have English and then Maltese. And it's only a Malta language. It's 70% Arabic. And so the teachers are like, "Hello, Poopa." And you're like, "Poopa?" And that means doll. Like, "Good morning, doll." And so my kids are getting off the bus and they're like, "Good morning, Poopa." And you're like, sounds good enough. They sound sweet when they're saying it. And I text my friend, "What's Poopa?" She's like, "Doll." It means doll. And then
Baby.
the whole time, because we're on this van and they say, "What's your number?" And I say, "Route 8." And the kids are like, "Don't say route. Don't say route." So I'm like, "What?" And you have to say route, because route in Maltese is a bag of crap.
Oh, so this is a major learning curve.
It has been the most fun because I knew, like, I have to come here like a blank sponge and absorb a new life and make it work in my favor, because there was a couple things I wanted for my life that America did not give me. The number one being I wanted a GMO free country, and Malta is. So that is where I started, and that's why I'm doing all these food interviews, because I'm feeling the soil and learning about these cultivated practices that are not laden with poison. I'm going to remember that one. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Don't say
don't
route over here in Malta. Say route. Route. We're on route 8, not route. And it wasn't, and the kids wouldn't tell me what it meant, because they're like giggling and they're like, don't say it, don't say it. And then my friend, am I allowed to say a bad word? Am I allowed to say the H word on here? Okay, so my friend is in my kitchen. She's been my leading role model here in Malta. She took me under her wing, and I said something, route something, and she goes, don't say route. That's a bag of shit. And I was like, what?
Sorry. So
I was
sorry,
like,
my bad.
okay, because the kids kept laughing, but they would never tell me what it is.
Well,
And
yeah,
like,
because they can't say that.
they don't want to say that. And then like my first interview for Oh My Malta was with the potatoes. It was a potato farmer for Air Malta. He grows the potatoes that they use on the airplane. And they're like, the Maltese potatoes do not taste like American potatoes. They taste like heaven in your mouth. They are non-poisoned. They are amazing. The soil here, the sun, the air, it's beyond. So I'm interviewing this farmer for the potatoes. And now it's even being shown on Air Malta flights, this video interview. But in Maltese, your bottom is your patata. So sit all the way on your patata. And so the kids are I'm telling them I'm going to go do this interview for potatoes. And they're like, don't say potato, it's a patata. And I was like, you're not fooling me, kids. I'm not getting on there on a video and saying patata. And they're like, no. And they always say, miss. That's how they call you here. Miss. No, I'm telling the truth. It's patata. It's patata. And I would not believe them. So I come back from the interview and they're like, did you say patata? I said, no, I did not say patata. I'm not getting on a live interview and saying your bottom for potatoes. And then I found out it's true. So the patata is, in fact, both a potato and your butt. It's both. I'm still not using it on a live interview, just in case.
All right. So, yeah, do you like the cameraman?
Yes.
You go either way. But that is hilarious. I'm sorry, Mama's internet crashed. It happened. She was having some problems before the show started. So if maybe we might have her back.
There she is.
Hi, honey. Yeah, every once in a while. It happens. I'm glad to have you there.
All of a sudden, y'all kind of got glitchy. And then I was like, y'all disappeared. And I was like, what the? And I noticed the little internet symbol on my router is like red. And I was,
oh, yeah.
Sharon says, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
I like you, Sharon. She's very interactive. She's a great.
Well, there's a lot going on over here, and we got some good.
Does anybody have any questions? Do we want to talk about the body and any place that you want to know where some emotions sit?
Yeah, because I want to circle back to the book for
I need to get the book. I need to get all your books.
I need to get the other two with this one so I can have the series. But I want to work.
Yes, we need a trilogy.
But you also
these two are a match. So if you look, wait.
Yeah.
They come together. They're a match.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So these two were published through Llewellyn Worldwide. Everybody, you guys definitely know Llewellyn. These two are Llewellyn books. And then this one is an HCI book. So it doesn't resemble the other two, but they are really a trilogy.
Okay. All right. Because they are amazing.
So Amazon.ca, here I come.
I should have put that
Malta doesn't have Amazon.
No,
it's true. We have to order from Amazon Germany or Amazon UK, and it takes like 3 months to get here.
that's okay. Half the things that are on Amazon.com are not on .ca. A lot of books don't come out on .com, and the only thing I get on .ca is the Kindle version. And I'm sorry, I like to actually hold.
I like to touch, dog ear, highlight. I make a mess of my books.
You ought to see Gina's books when she's done with them.
Yeah. By the time my books are done, they're just like there's one dog here on this page.
Yes,
right
the little dogs.
And then I write, and I'm gonna do the journaling. I'm gonna write in the book. So, because this is going to be my book, a lot of
I'm gonna
times I'll
take my
read it
readers off.
and I will actually, either donate it to someone that really needs it or something like that. And then I have my personal books. This is going to be in my personal book because you
Oh,
can
I'm
go
glad.
to it for so many different things. Just what I've read so far. And then I got to the chapter on grief. And because I just lost my puppy, not that long ago, that chapter, it's like, I want to read it. I want to work it.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. It's like,
Do it later. Do that
You're
one
not ready
later.
for it. It's not time for you
Go
to work that
go
yet.
over the action bridge and start working on the happier. This is not, you don't have to go in order.
right.
You just
Exactly.
don't. This is so like open the book and feel like, what do I need today? What
Yeah.
emotion do you know? And even I have it on audio in my car as part of my, MP3, whatever. And my kids, I realized one time I was playing one of the more heavy emotions and I realized I don't want them to hear it. I don't want them to absorb it. So when my kids are in the car, I only play happy, joy, connected, or empowered
Ah,
because I want them to hear those expressions of emotion.
mhm, mhm.
And
Okay,
so I'll do
but
that.
you do chapters on all these things and a chapter on shame too. I have a neurostimulator implant in my spine and I have a transmitter screwed together at the C7 C8. It hurts so bad. Emily, do you have
Okay,
any idea?
I would skip a massage and go straight to craniosacral therapy. I would go to another type of body work. So if it were me and I had that going on, I would go to upledger.com, UPLEDGER, upledger.com, and click find a therapist. Put in your zip code, and then it lists it by most trained to least trained. So you want a therapist that has 2 lines of training across the top. You want them to have their CS1, CS2. You want them to have the lymphatic, the visceral manipulation. You want them to be as well trained as humanly possible, an upledger craniosacral therapist, or you want to go to like an energy worker. But craniosacral therapy looks like watching paint dry, but the effects are massive. They are massive. They are inside the cerebral spinal fluid. So you with this fusing and the issues in the cervical spine, I don't think I would go for a physical manipulation. I would go for the holding patterns that craniosacral can offer. Which, by the way, and this is not honestly, the more that I get away from this book, the more I realize this is the one that everybody should actually have, whole body healing, because it's your reference manual into all places healing. So it's your physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual, and who lives there, who's under those umbrellas. And then at the back of the book is your easy to read guide. What's out there under physical? What's out there under emotional? What's out there under energetic? What's out there under spiritual? Because there are so many different types of body healing and so
Mhm.
many different types of body work where you do not have to lay on a table and have cream and oil and all this stuff, but the results might be even more beneficial. So things like craniosacral therapy that's exactly right. Craniosacral, it can change really the whole conversation that your body is holding because it works with fascia restriction patterns, which obviously you have around that cervical spine where it's had to be fused. They do incredible work with concussions, neurological issues. um, my child, if I dare be so bold, my child was diagnosed with mild to moderate autism spectrum. And we did everything that they said to do, and we saw very little results. Then we started craniosacral therapy. She became fully verbal. Her brain completely reorganized. They removed her diagnosis in full less than 2 years later. And people all the time go, "Oh, she grew out of it." No, she was 5. She did not grow out of it. She was 5. It's because the brain was still so open and the craniosacral therapy. When I met the Upledger School to interview them about fascia and muscles for my book, The Body Heals Itself. And when I went down to Florida and went to their clinic, it was wall to wall children. And I said, "Why are there so many kids?" And they said, "Oh, people fly from all over the world. We specialize in autism spectrum disorders, sensory processing issues, ADHD." And I
Okay,
was like,
thinking about this.
"You have to treat my child. You have to work on her." And my child wouldn't let the therapist touch her. She like removed her hand all the time. Craniosacral therapy, you stay dressed. So it's like I went to the training because the founder's son sent me to level 1 training as a gift. so that I could properly articulate what they do in my book. But he didn't realize he was going to give my child full recovery, full. She
Wow.
has no therapies, no special services in school. Everything. In fact, I'll show you. I am the chapter on recovery for Autism Essentials
Beautiful.
because. And this is a massive book, but I am the chapter on recovery because not enough people talk about it or allowed to talk about it. But craniosacral therapy, I credit, I'd say 95% of her recovery was craniosacral therapy. I've helped families all the way out in Egypt find their therapist. Up ledger, though. It has to be up ledger trained, and they need to be, and for a child, if you've heard this and you go, oh my God, I have friends that need this, you have to find a pediatric trained craniosacral therapist. PED has to be in there. Or you call the school or you look around because you cannot be playing around. This is your brain. It's the brain and the spinal fluids around the brain.
Yeah, we're hopping a plane tomorrow.
You coming to Malta? But honestly, so if you have these issues in your spine, look at some of the alternatives to healing that don't require a standard massage. Standard massage is fantastic for certain people. It's not for everyone. So you have to figure out what way your body is going to be able to respond in a safe and healthy manner.
Right.
At a pace that it's like my mom came here to Malta and ended up getting shingles. And she went back home. She's walking with a cane and she's like, my neighbor says I should go to physical therapy. My neighbor's a physical therapist. Of course, that's what she's going to say.
Yep.
For me, I keep saying this to her. I was like, Mom, you have to go to Dr. Du. He's a neurologist from Beijing. He's an acupuncturist. You go for neurological, you go for acupuncture, you go for the Chinese medicine, get those nerves working again. Shingles is a nerve issue. She finally sucked it up and went to see Dr. Du yesterday and feels like $1 million. Can't believe how much better. My acupuncturist had a client who'd had Bell's palsy, paralysis of one side of the face. In America, it's considered idiopathic, without cure, without cause. In Chinese medicine, they know the cause, they know the cure. She cleared it in 2 sessions.
Wow.
2 sessions. And there's no looking at the slight droop anymore. It's not there. So there are a lot of ways. You go to certain, mostly Western medicine to find your research, to find your diagnosis. But then you go towards the Eastern to get treated. Because do you just want to have the outline of what's the matter? Or do you want to have a pathway to how do we get better? And that requires both sides. So I'm not saying don't go west. I'm saying don't go west without bringing east. Don't go east without going west. Get your proper diagnosis. Get your information. You have to know what you're working with. But then when you're like my dog had some sort of a seizure, something, and I took him to my vet who did blood work. It was all clear. Who did fluids? They were fine. Who kept him overnight? Nothing changed. I asked for an x-ray. Was there anything wrong with the spine? No. And that was it. They send you home and go, okay, we've done everything we can do. We'll give you some pain medicine. And then I found the one acupuncturist on this island that does animal acupuncture. And guess what? We got him treated. And he hasn't had any of the seizures or anything because the way they look at your body is in your energy, your bowels, your sleep states, your tongue. They do a whole tongue assessment. And so to me, it was, I went to the vet first and spent $500 to figure out that nothing potentially is wrong. And then I went to the holistic vet and got an actual plan of treatment. I put him on a raw food diet. We changed everything. This is how you get healing in action. So these healing modalities, the problem is not enough people know they exist. And that's what I want people to learn. Do we have a commercial?
Yeah,
Yeah. I gotta actually
I'm bad.
do the
Sorry. Commercial time.
That's fine. It's good.
share screen thing. I go to my desktop. I forgot to even put it up here. Okay, so
We're so into this. We just,
I know.
Start it up.
So please
Bob, we
don't
love you, but
where people are while we're doing our commercial break. If you have anybody that has all these issues and pent up emotional damage and everything else, and you want to find out where they live in your bodies, come back with us. A few minutes. All right.
The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. Bob has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NEPA Paranormal and as lead in the popular local PA TV show ghost detectives. His experience and knowledge of how spirits could be seen or heard is how he manufactures equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. Ghost hunting equipment made by a ghost hunter. He is the only manufacturer of the lifelike trigger prop cats, and there is a litter to choose from, and also the trigger prop dogs with a few new additions to the kennel. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these have proven to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HDO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object, such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HDO will light. It has an optional sound option as well. This device was used on Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that spirits manifest using static electricity. By using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement if a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell. Set the sensitivity and place the device in that area, and its band of lights will show a range of vibrations, from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting its entire range. The V-Pod holds a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device, and it has 2 sound modes, REM and musical. The customizable items are the Easy Scan Ghost Box, which is very popular due to the ease of use, and they are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer, scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is different, every box is unique, and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The newest item to Vortex Ghost Gear is the Cryptochords motion-activated music box. Place the item with a sensor pointing in the direction you wish to monitor. If something crosses the V pattern emanating from the box's sensor, the music and light will activate. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher by visiting www.vortexghostgear.com. View all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with Ghostly Excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the United States by visiting www.ghostlyexcursions.com. And join us on our next adventure.
Hello? Somebody help us, please?
We heard that you take in wounded soldiers.
We are also Masons. I saw the Mason flag outside.
Tango!
Holy. Something keeps touching it.
Do you think maybe they're trying to bring you your sword?
I feel like once we said we're Masons, that's when it started going off.
Because the Weems family Masons. This is somebody in the Weems family.
Are you Thomas? There goes.
Are you here with us now? This is why you put stuff on and you put yourself in their shoes. This is why you do
why I
that.
do it.
You're absolutely right.
There, I had to unmute us.
Oh,
That video
good,
was
because
so
my
fun.
dogs came in during this. They came and interrupted, and I
Oh,
have
we usually have
two
that
out of
happen.
three.
Mom,
2 out of 3
Mama
dogs
D's,
are in here.
yeah, Mama D's dog always, comes in. She has a dog and a cat, and they'll start scuffling. My dog used to come in, and she was old, so she would walk and grunt. So you'd hear her going, gosh, gosh, gosh. Yeah. Hi, we lost you again for a minute.
Hi.
You stay with us this time. Thank you for reminding me to take a station break, Mama.
Uh-huh.
She always does that. It's time. I get into the
It's
conversation.
important. I understand.
Sorry, my alarm went off and I kind of went,
Oh my goodness. All right, so okay, let's.
So we were talking about the opportunities for healing from different modalities, the Chinese medicine and craniosacral therapy. There's just a lot. So I host a show on Healthy Life Radio called All About Healing, and I like to explore the different opportunities. So the book, The Body Heals Itself, is your reference manual to all things available out there. And then I walk you through what it is, how to find a good therapist, your specialties, your doctors that are specialized. I started taking note of how important knowing what's out there, because I was doing a massage once, and this woman had these really bizarre little hardened circles in her myofascial tendon on the base of the foot, on the arch of the foot, between where when you lift your big toe and this tendon pops out, and there's like a nickel sized on both feet, this hardened circle. And so I started at her feet and I said, okay, what's going on here? What do we have here? And she goes, oh, it's a fallen tendon. And I was like, okay. And then I'm massaging and I'm like, a fallen tendon? A tendon connects a muscle to a bone. So how does it fall in the middle and only in one place? And so I was like, listen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm confused. A tendon connects a muscle to a bone. I don't understand how it could fall in the same place on both feet and just fall. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Who diagnosed this? And at the same time, I said, did you see a podiatrist? You know what she said? What's a
No.
podiatrist?
Ah, wow.
What's a podiatrist? And I said,
So who told
then
you?
who diagnosed it? She goes, oh, my family doctor said it's probably this. And I said, okay, this is where we get into trouble, because doctors don't like to look like they don't know. But what they need to do is say, this isn't my specialty. Let me send you to a podiatrist and get a proper diagnosis. And if you don't know better, like this woman didn't, she just lived with it for years. And then when I said, please promise me that you will go home and call a podiatrist and get a proper diagnosis and see if there's treatment, because I've never seen anything like this. I have no idea what this is, but please go to a podiatrist. And she looked at me and she goes, well, now you make me feel stupid. And I was like, I'm not trying to make you feel stupid. I'm trying to get you help.
Right.
I'm trying to get you to the right place, because why would you live with this pain for years and just decide that whatever flippant comment your doctor made, if you heard the words, it might be, it's probably, and you don't go take it upon yourself to back it up to it is, and here's the test procedures that'll show why, and then you seek treatment. So you first have to gather your parameters. Where are you starting from? What's the information that you have? What's the diagnosis? What's the prognosis? What's that, right? And it became really important to me, because we're not taught these things in school. People don't even know. I was standing in my friend's house and I had like a weird cramp right around my liver. I was like, oh God, I hope that's not my liver. And she went, that's not even where your liver is. And I looked at her and I went, that's exactly where your liver is. And she was like, oh, I don't really know where your liver is. I just want to make you feel better. And it was like, okay, this is a problem.
Wow.
Like, this is a problem, but we're not taught. How many people really know where your liver is, where your gallbladder is, where your pancreas is, where your spleen is? We don't know, because unless you're in the healthcare field, they teach you for a week, maybe in school,
Unless you get
and you're
the
done.
problem with it,
Unless
and
you
then
get
gotta
sick.
find out, why am I hurting right here? Well, that's a gallbladder. Right? Why am I
Exactly.
hurting over here? Why am I hurting back here?
Why is the appendix? I have pain over here, but something, unless you get sick, you become a queen bee at it, right? You become like the expert in this area of your body. And to me, the more knowledge you have, the more you can head things off at the pass. Not everything came to take you down, but if you don't listen for years upon years, it's going to have its way with you.
Yep.
It's going to. You're going to succumb to the ignorance that you never either wanted to know or had any idea that somebody could help.
Yeah, I walk
Because
that life. I do. I toe that line. I do the same thing. I'm just like, all this going on all the time, um, breathing issues and everything else. You get COVID, and then I had to go find out, and COVID pummeled my lungs, so now I got
yes.
COPD and emphysema. Did I want to know that that was going on? No. Should I have known that was going on? Probably. you know,
I mean,
and
that's the hard part is sometimes you don't want to know. Sometimes like and I don't okay, let's just put
Yeah,
like a hypothetical that someone could have something that there's not a lot of treatment for. Would you be better off just not knowing then and having a great quality of life and doing the best you can? Like, we don't know. I mean, but then that's where I go different and go, okay, there's a lot of therapeutic remedies out there that are not living at your regular
mm,
doctor's office. But if you go to a functional medicine or integrative medicine, or you start to look outside the box, and this became a huge
mm,
deal when I did have a child who was on the spectrum and had a million therapies. And I'm talking to these different moms, and I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. So you had here I was already a Reiki master and doing, different work. So I'm doing a ton of work with my kid, right? And you have all these people that go, no, 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 that compromises my faith. My pastor said you can't do that. No energy, no this, no that. And you're like, it's your
yeah,
child. Are you kidding me right now? You think
mm,
that like God didn't put all this out there for you to use, but instead you're listening to this one really narrow-minded person, and now you've missed a whole array of healing. And
yep.
so one of the big things that I always talk about, especially to moms, because there are moms that could be really close-minded until their kid gets sick, and then they're willing to rub their bodies down with snake oil if they need to, because they'll do whatever it takes to make their child better, right? But you have to be willing to take off your blinders and know that there are incredible healing opportunities. Ionic foot baths. You want to get
mhm,
some of that junk out of you? If you're going
Oh,
through
that was
chemo, get the
disgusting.
foot baths. Get things. I mean, there is a load of things that is out there for you. And you know what? They say this like so I go to something called NAET from my naturopath, not here in Malta because I can't find it, but in Georgia we did it all the time. And that's Nambrujapad's allergy elimination technique. That is what made my children not have to be on a gluten diet anymore, gluten-free, because
Oh,
they weren't celiac. So if you're celiac, that's a different game. But all these other people that have to do gluten-free or dairy-free or all these things, there are other alternative ways. So we've been going to NAET, not just for our food stuff, but then we started to do it for emotions and things that are hiding in the body. So when he muscle tests, he'll go through these 4 fingers as an emotional, spiritual, energetic, physical. Where does it come from? And then he'll treat you for it. And that was a game changer because now we didn't have to show up for birthday parties with our own cupcakes. No, 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 baby, you cannot have that birthday cake. Here's
right.
yours, and it became huge. But there's a lot out there that we just don't know lives, and it
no,
does.
It's true. That's true. Mama, you had a question. Mama? Hello? Are you hearing me, Mama?
yeah, yeah,
Mama,
no,
do
I just,
you have a question?
no, I'm good.
Like
Okay.
Just,
you had raised your hand before, so I was like, and I think it was just something
So
that was
if
like,
you need this reference book, this is Whole Body Healing.
I
And
need
it's
to.
create your own path to physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual wellness. And the reason that I talk about this too is that your energy body is different than your emotional body. People interchange them, but they're not the same. Because if
mm,
it's emotional, you're looking at therapy, you're looking at counseling, you're looking at hypnotherapy, talk therapy, EMDR therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy. You're looking at a totally different array of what's out there.
Mhm.
And then if you're talking energy, you're talking Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic practice, prana healing, things that works with the energy body, right? Physical, you need to know what specialists are out there. If you have an issue in one part of your body and you go just to the regular one doctor and he doesn't refer you, do you know I went to a gastroenterologist because I kept having this one really odd sharp pain, and I was like, I go into the GI doctor and I go, okay, it's exactly where the colon is at that turn, and this is where it hurts, and she goes, can you point to it? I said, yes, it's exactly right here. And she goes, yeah, then GI is not your problem. I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, gastrointestinal, all that is like where you can't quite pinpoint. If you know exactly where the pain is, it's not in your GI tract. And she
Oh,
goes, now good luck. She goes, because we have this a lot and nobody can figure out what it is. I was like, oh, okay, I'm on my way then, because there's no possible way that I'm going to have this issue and leave it. So I go to my naturopath, NAET, does the testing and says, this is an energy pocket where you stuff your feelings. It's a pocket.
right.
I call them pain pockets through your body, but he talked about it like it's a little pocket where you decide this is where you're going to store some of the junk that you just don't want to deal with right now. He's like, but this is spiritual and emotional. So let's clear it. And then he has you like put your hand on your head and he goes down your spine and you repeat these affirmations and boom, you're better. Like and so for a long time it was classified as quack medicine. But
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
now if you go to the PubMed articles,
Alternative
it's now
medicine.
legit. They now have enough research to back it up. So sometimes science is slow to catch up. So
Yeah.
if you're like
Pharmacy,
researching and you
pharmacy
go,
is
this
the one
woman's a
that
crack, huh?
pharmacy, big pharmacy. That's what's going to keep all that down.
You know what's interesting in Malta? It's illegal to have pharmaceutical commercials. So they have no commercials with pills. It's very fascinating to me
Wow.
over here. And also
Oh,
socialized medicine, I have to say, we have
Yeah,
been misled. It's fabulous.
yeah.
It's
Listen,
fabulous.
listen to this, Mama. She lives in this community, and it's socialized medicine. Tell her the story that you told me about.
About my mom.
Yes.
So my mom comes to Malta before the shingles and got kidney stones. So we had to go to the hospital. And see, here's the thing though. Socialized medicine is awesome if you're a resident because then everything's free. So any treatment that you get in the hospital, which by the way, the hospital has Chinese medicine, regular medicine, all kinds of stuff. So I take my mom to the hospital because she's going to pass a kidney stone. And she doesn't have a residence card, so you're talking cash. And she had to stay the night in the hospital. So 2 days in the hospital, one night, IV fluids, blood work, two CT scans, a EKG. And all I'm thinking is, oh dear God, I'm going to spend $10,000. We're going to be like out of house and home with these kidney stones. For all of that, it was 1,000 euros.
nice.
That? Can you imagine that? All that. I mean, I didn't for years get a CAT scan done now because it was going to be $5,000 just for one without it being red, and that's here. You know,
It's amazing. I mean, you go to the doctor here and it's 10 euros and you're done. You pay it in cash. That you don't get the insurance back with a kick in your butt bill. It's
yeah.
over. You walk in, you pay. I have insurance here. I've yet to actually file anything because it's so affordable. And like to see a specialist here is 60 euros, 60. So you pay it in cash and you leave. Like you're done. Actually, I think it might be 30. It's that I pay 60 when both my girls go to the eye doctor because they both wear glasses. So maybe it's actually might be 60 because I took my mom back to the urologist that treated her in the hospital and it was 30 euros for the specialist. And the thing is, the way that the doctors work here is they work in a different clinic every day of the week and one day at the hospital. So they rotate the shifts. So you'll see them at the hospital and then you can follow them up at the clinic and figure
The
out which
clinics.
clinic and you go there. And the crazy thing is like our neighborhood doctor rides up on his motorcycle, comes in for your appointment. Bye, dear. Everybody says dear here. Okay, dear. Even on the text, it's okay, dear. And then they jump back on their motorcycle and go to the next place. And they still do house calls.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
it's like going back 40 years in time.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I feel like I stole someone's dream life and I'm not giving it back.
mm.
I'm not giving it back.
I'm so happy.
I love it. It's
I
it's
am.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I could choose to look at a lot of other things and go. I mean, when I'm on the expats page, you can hear a lot of complaints. But for me, this has been a dream bigger than I knew that
We just gotta get
that I
them to
didn't
drive
fit.
on the right side of the road.
They drive on the left side of the road.
I know. I'm just saying we got to change that.
Oh, you know what they say? Because in Malta, there's like really not any. The sidewalks are like the size of a bike trail. Like it is ridiculous. You can't hold both kids' hands and walk along the sidewalk. They're so thin, and they're right next to the road. And if you step on the road, they'll run you over. Like you have to be careful. Traffic here is a nightmare. And so my landlord, she's so good to me, and she goes, you know what they say? They say the Brits drive on the left, and the Americans drive on the right, and the Maltese drive on the sidewalks.
That's why they're so small. So
And
yeah,
I'm in the tiniest car. I'm in a Mini Cooper, and it feels like a massive car. I gave up my minivan in the United States to drive this Mini Cooper, and it feels like one of the biggest cars on the island. So I used to think those smart cars were the dumbest things ever. They're freaking brilliant over here. Brilliant.
yeah,
What
yeah.
was that? I missed that comment.
Okay. This is Scott.
Other
He
things,
says a
but outside of
lot of things, but outside of financial means to the UK NHS, basic to alive. I'm not sure I understand exactly what that.
it's
Yeah,
the healthcare stuff, I think, but it is
Yeah, NHS
really
is healthcare system in the UK.
okay.
no,
Scott's over in England. He's my little Scotsman over in England, and
what's
and
basic
and
to
he's having typing errors. He's gone blonde. Sorry.
alive?
Well, so yeah, so the healthcare here is a thing to navigate all on its own, but it's also like my children both had ear infections and they did antibiotic drops. They didn't make them take antibiotics. They do
Oh,
everything they can
that
to
makes
avoid
sense.
antibiotics. They do a lot
yeah.
to
Well, I grew up Italian, with the old home remedies.
Olive
And
oil.
stuff. Yeah, heat it up.
olive oil, little garlic
My
and mullein, and put it in.
my mother used to blow cigarette smoke into my ear
Uh,
whenever I had an earache, and it worked. And yet, Scott had a stroke.
oh,
Oh,
I'm so sorry. So what could you do for that?
I mean, I would go to Chinese medicine. I would do everything I can to help with the neurological. If I think neurological, I think two things. One, your neurologist. Two, your Chinese medicine. I would go to both. I would
Did you hear
never
that,
leave my
Scott?
neurologist out.
Did you hear
Never.
that?
But
Yeah,
and when you look for Chinese medicine, let me explain this. This is important, really important. There are a lot of people now that take needling as a second part of their careers. There's a lot of chiropractors that now do needling, and there's a lot of PTs that do something called dry needling, and it's with an acupuncture needle, but it's for muscle. When you're looking for acupuncture, you're looking for a legit acupuncture Chinese
Acupuncturist.
medicine. So the letters that you're looking for is TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. That means if you see the letters TCM, it means they can prescribe herbs or create an herbal tea. So they can do the herbs and the treatment. Okay, so if you're in England, it is expensive, but it's also go to the Chinese medicine school. Find out if there's an acupuncture school near you. Get some of those students that have teachers, watchful eye. There are always ways. There are always ways. Here in Malta, they have Chinese medicine at the hospital. So if you're a resident, you can go and get Chinese medicine here. But there are ways. It's just figuring out. I mean, a lot of this, sometimes you find out about this healing and you go, oh my God, I've got to go to the United States to go get this. And then you find out that a neighbor 2 blocks down has a whole practice right there. You just didn't know it existed. So first you find out, and then you start your Google friends. So you don't go to Google to become your doctor, but you go to Google to find your helpers. So then you have to look at the right things. So you'll say TCM or traditional Chinese medicine near me. Because then it's only giving you the traditional Chinese medicine, because you do not want to go, the chiropractor is great, but I don't want them putting needles in me. That is not the acupuncturist. I need a 4-year degree from acupuncture school. That's who's touching me with needles.
It would probably benefit me so much to go, but
Okay, so an acupuncture needle is no bigger than the piece of hair. It's teeny tiny, and you don't feel it. And the first place most of them put is here, and it releases endorphins and makes you feel high. So by the time they put all the needles in, you're like, I feel awesome. Like I remember leaving and getting lost for like 3 hours on the road. I found a country road, farms. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know we had farms around here. And I just was like, like it just, so whatever energy is blocked in your body, it opens it. And so
I
you
have
just
to
kind of
find that translation in French because I'm in
Find it.
Quebec. But I
Okay,
will be
yes,
finding it.
yes. There's tons of that. And like gosh, my manual lymph drainage teachers right there in Canada. That's where they're from. And they do a ton of teaching over there, Victoria. but they're all over Canada. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's a ton. It's looking. So you start big and then you cast a wide net and then come in, or you
That's the
start to
job.
ask your friends. But don't ask like your buddy that doesn't know anything about healing. Ask your friends in the field.
Right.
What do you know about Chinese medicine? What do you know about acupuncture? Now, here's the other thing. So, remember, I said they look at your tongue, they ask about your bowels, your sleep, your emotions. So, they have these pulse points on your inner, like where we would take our pulse. They actually put 3 fingers, they do 3 light and then 3 heavy, and then they do it on the other side, and that's all the body organs. And they listen to the pulses to see what organs are strong and not strong. And then
Wow.
they treat you according to that organ system because your body has meridian channels up and down the whole body of each organ. And originally, way back, quack medicine, and now they have enough information to prove it that there is a whole system in the body that you can't relate to fascia, muscle, bone, and it's in there. It's
Yeah,
actually
the
tubular.
energy roadmaps in the body are
It's
important.
energy roadmaps and they're everywhere. And
Yeah.
so, if they like when I was trying to get pregnant, I went to my acupuncturist who's one of my best friends. And I literally had ovulated like 2 days before. And she felt my wrist and she goes, "You have a little rolling pulse. You never have a rolling pulse. You might be pregnant." And I was like, "Come on. I literally had sex like yesterday. Come on." And she was like, "I'll wait." So she calls me like just about 2 weeks later and she's like, "Are we pregnant?" And I was like, "No, I just took a test. It's negative." And she was like, "I'll wait." I called her a couple days later and I was like, "I'm pregnant." And she's like, "I know."
Nice.
I love that.
But I mean,
really
she
do
knew it.
because that
She
just
knew it
it
because she knew
proves
my
that you're
body. And she
yep.
was doing these pulses and like, "Oh, this
Mhm.
pulse is different, just ever so slight." And then I went to her for my whole pregnancy and the baby would like disco dance when I'd have the needles in and just to nourish the blood. But it was, we need to nourish your blood. We need to, I went to her one time because I had food poisoning. And I
Ooh.
felt like death warmed over. And I was a school teacher at the time, and I was the chaperone on a trip with these
Oh,
kids,
great.
and I had to share a hotel with one of the students' mothers, and I am dying. I am like both ends are loose. I'm like on the floor. I'm like, I don't even know this woman. I cannot believe I have to share a hotel room with a stranger whose kids are going to go back to school and go, "Oh my God." And I was miserable. And I came back and called my acupuncturist and I was like, "Help me." And she put the needles into my stomach area and they twist the needles to get the energy moving. And she was like, "This is like churning butter. There's nothing in there. No energy, no energy, no energy from all the vomiting."
Yeah.
And she had to keep twisting. And then she's like, "There it is. There it is. Butter, 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 butter." And then I wasn't sick anymore. I mean,
Wow.
but and because we had become such good friends, I mean, like I would be like leaving to go someplace, and she's like, "Wait, let me put a couple needles in you so that you feel good when you get home." And I would just drive home with these needles hanging. And my children have had acupuncture. There's nothing to it. And the
Yeah.
thing that
I've
makes
had it
me
once.
sad, it's amazing. The thing that makes me sad about acupuncture is most people seek it out when they're dying, like literally when they've exhausted every other effort and then they finally break down and go, "Okay, I'm going to try this." And then they don't and then they're too late. Like they
Yeah.
can still help slow some processes, but it can reverse a lot of things. And so staying in tune and having somebody to check those organ systems and what's getting off balance and how do we change fast. Going to acupuncture even twice a year or 4 times a year at the change of the seasons
My
just to keep
daughter
your
did.
body in maintenance.
Yeah. My daughter has issues with her sciatic nerve,
Mhm.
and she tried everything. And somebody suggested to her an acupuncturist. And she's like, "Okay, fine, I'll try anything," because she was like in pain
That's when they
constantly.
finally go. Yep.
So, but we'd never heard of it before. I mean, I do Reiki and I did work with her and I do mom massage and we won't go there. But and she tried this out and she says, "Mom, it's freaking amazing."
It's
And
amazing.
she used to go every week and they gave her those little suction cup things and that helps
Cupping.
too. Yeah, and
Yes.
she
That's
gave
like
me one when I
too.
did this fun thing to
Oh,
myself.
it's awesome.
She gave me one and I was like, "Oh, it's like, okay, fine." Except it wasn't the same thing when
I would have
the physical
permanent
therapist did it to
scar.
me. I was like, "Oh, that hurt like."
I really would. I think from cupping, if I did cupping, I would have permanent scars. I'm rough and tough and everything else. My skin is so frail. I scar like I've got
No, you
scars
would. It just looks like
on my
hickeys for a couple
arm.
days. It's just the
Yeah.
blood.
No,
But
it's
you know
not a
what?
couple days. It lasts
I
like months for me.
No, oh, okay. Well, see, now I used to work at the acupuncture clinic. So my dear friend acupuncturist that I've been talking about was there for my massage graduation, offered me her space, and we worked on the days that she wasn't there. I worked in her clinic room, and then there was another acupuncturist who owned the building. So I got to be really tight into the Chinese medicine world. And I remember the other doctor. Something was happening where he goes, "Okay, in the freezer are leeches. I need you to go get them." I'm like, "What?"
Mm.
And he's like, "No, we use them to pull the blood and to help." He's like, "They actually have incredible healing properties. So they're in a bag, they're in the freezer. Go get them, bring them to me." And so my job would be to put the herbs together and to pull the needles out. Huh?
So you can freeze a leech, and then when they thaw out, they're still alive. That's kind of sick.
It's like,
That's-
it was shared. Yummy.
Aren't you glad you had me on tonight just for
I mean,
that
yeah,
bit of information?
I'm telling you.
Just,
So,
there's always a
I know
nugget, and
everything.
that might be our nugget.
So
That's
okay,
the
so
nugget
when
of
a leech
wisdom.
when a leech is full, when the leech has done its job, they just normally fall off. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So is there a time that they would have taken them off? And if
They're in
so,
hibernation.
aside from pouring
Deep
salt on
freeze.
them, how would you have done that?
I don't know because he's the doctor. I don't stay in the room.
Oh, you
So
don't? Okay.
yeah, I mean, I would help him and get the herbs and pull the needles out once he was done, but I never managed a leech.
I don't think so.
Because when we were young and we used to go in our lake or beach, we get the leeches and they would pour salt on it and it would just and then we toss it
And
out
they
and
would-
it would be fine. But I somehow doubt. Yeah.
I
So,
don't
Full of
know.
salt, yeah.
So you can
Okay.
reuse a leech then, right? So all right,
No,
so-
that's so gross. No, that'd be like
like-
reusing a needle. No, it's a
So-
it's a one-time use.
all
Yeah.
right, so what do you do with them?
I don't know. That
Mm.
also was not my job. He didn't put me through that. I just got to help with the
I wanna kn-
herbs
Now
and
I
take
wanna
the
know.
needles out. And honestly, I have no idea what they do because they have these hazard bins where you put all the needles. So probably it's in the hazard bin.
Yeah, it makes
Oh,
sense.
they're gonna crawl out. Ew, 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 ew,
Ew.
ew. No, I'm gonna have nightmares.
I don't know. I don't know. But the
It could be a
point
hor-
is
it
that
could be a
there
horror
is
movie. It could
there
be a
is
horror
so
movie.
many healing modalities out there.
Oh, there
That's
are,
the
and
thing.
you don't-
Like people
yeah,
need
you
to
don't know.
people need to have hope in their healing because it's not over. If you're still here and you're breathing, there's hope and it's not
I know,
over.
and you know
So
what?
find the
And you know what?
places.
Yeah, people always do this too. It's like I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be alive. You know the things that I've said about what is it? It's
I
not
found a TCM near me.
Oh, good.
There we go. Oh, okay.
See?
So all right.
TCM.
So yeah, you've got to Google these things. I got to write down the and what was the up ledger?
Up
The link is in the.
Oh, okay. All right. So as long as we got to have those links so people understand where to
There's
go.
a lot of upledger therapists in
But a lot
Canada.
of people are just like, I'm done. I've exhausted all my things, but I'm still here. Yeah, and I should have been dead because of this, and I should have died because of that, and you haven't. So what's the point? What's the point of you being here? The point is definitely not to be in pain, correct? Because
It's not to be miserable, I don't think.
I live in pain every day. I have since being a teenager with my neck, and sometimes it's like I'm used to it, you know. So I don't
But
think
that
I'm doing it.
sucks.
That's the thing. It does suck. And then sometimes it gets really bad where it debilitates me, for like it could be up to a couple days. And I will be so sick because it will give me a headache or like a raging like a migraine. I can melt ice packs on my head and sick to my stomach, all from my neck.
Well,
And
there's a
that's,
whole lot going on in there.
and then and that's just one thing, But you get to the point where it's like, well, it's been going on this way for years, and you think
Yes.
that's it.
I mean,
Like-
complacency is the nemesis of good
Mhm.
health because there is a lot of that where we've gotten so out of touch with our bodies because it hurts too much to be in there. So there's a lot of people, especially like spiritual people that live up higher in the higher realms and really neglect their body. They just don't live in it. And so when they live in it, they feel really heavy and they're like, ew, ugh, this is not fun. I don't like being in here.
Yeah.
But it's really, really important because like there's even people that you feel that they're like gently to the side of their body. Like they're really not fully inside themselves. They're really not in their body. And when I think about that, there's the last meditation in healing ourselves whole is it's no longer the emotions. It's using time to heal. You're doing a rebirth. So the last meditation in healing ourselves whole, I help you align your physical spine to your energy spine and bring yourself back into your body. So first we leave by lining our spines up, and then your energy body goes with the angels and does a whole different meditation, and you leave the physical body behind. And then when you come back to the physical, you line your spine to spine. So you're sitting back to back with yourself until you can turn around and go back into the body, but you line it up spine to spine because it's really shocking how many people really do not live fully inside their body. I'm one of them. I mean,
Yeah.
it took me a long
Now,
time to come back in.
right, we're talking a lot about physical pain, but trauma from grief. Julie is a good example for this too. Grief, like I lost my husband, I lost my dog. You know, a lot of things we live in grief. Julie lost her son.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
it is just it's heartbreaking, but these traumas and they stick in all these muscles and they do make us sick.
I mean, I can't, there's not even, I can't even begin to have a conversation that would give enough gravity to where that is. So that is like even when I hear that, it like it is my biggest fear in the whole world. So it's like this, if I mean, if I were the first person I think of actually is another author. This is not for healing; it's for comfort. But there's a guy, Joe McClellan. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he has a book called "My Search for Christopher on the Other Side." And the reason that I love him is because he started off a Catholic, Irish Catholic, thought all this, spiritual stuff was for kooks. And now he's meditating and lighting candles and having conversations with his deceased son and writes books, with his son and has a new one out. We're not done yet, Pop. And so the second book is coming. And my
What was his name
very
again?
Joe McClellan,
Joe McClellan, right?
My Search for Christopher on the Other Side.
On the other side.
But my dear friend lost her daughter, and I put her in touch with Joe because Joe is the most kind-hearted, transparent man who's got like 20 years of sobriety. Um, I can't even give words. I just can't. There's not even the depth of my sorrow and feeling to you. I cannot. I send you so much love, but it's so far beyond.
She is just the oh my god, she's like a bright beam herself.
You know,
I love you, Julie.
that's God bless you, because when it comes to grief, and I talk about this in the book, nobody has any right to tell you how to grieve or for how long.
Hell
They
no.
just don't. It's a different entity. So on the heavy four, grief is its own beast, because
right,
grief cuts. Go ahead. Grief cuts time. It cuts time. So it puts you into a parallel life now, where this is my current reality. This is what it would be. This is how old they would be. This is their birthday. This is the thing. And you live in two different places now. What would my life be? And I still want to be there. And even, and this does not compare, but I lost my dad and I was very young, and he was the love of my life. I was 13 and he went to go play tennis and he never came home. And for a child that loved their dad more than everything, my mom gave me 2 weeks to grieve. And then I was really not to talk about him anymore. No therapy, no healing, no nothing. And when I got older and started suffering debilitating panic attacks and just could no longer function in the world because the grief had built so far, so long, that self-medicating with alcohol didn't work anymore. And I went to a shaman, a Native American medicine person, and they believe that when you are grief stricken, your soul actually shatters, and that pieces of the soul go with other places, and they're no longer in you. And you couldn't tell them anything about you. So I didn't go in going, I really miss my dad, or I really this. And I did several sessions before we did the soul retrieval. And she came back to me and she said, I found a piece of you that's 13 laying in a coffin. And you said, leave me alone. I'm with my dad. And
Oh my God.
and the shaman was like, is your dad here? And it was like the piece of me never even turned around. Like, and in my head, I saw these arms return into my body, but I couldn't even see my dad's face because the grief was so massive that he had to take the piece back and put it in me because I wasn't willing to leave. And all these books that I read about shamanic journeys and soul retrieval and all this stuff did not prepare me, because all the books that I read made it feel like you're going to be whole now because these pieces are returned. But yes, chapter 4, grief. But when the most traumatized piece of you is returned, it didn't get healed. It didn't go sit on the other side and get cleaned up and get healed. You're putting back into yourself the moment that it left. You're picking up where you left off when you couldn't handle it. And for me, it took me down. It took me down. Like, I was working and all I wanted to do was get the people off my massage table so I could lay there and cry instead. Like, I couldn't function. And I moved home. I quit my job. I lived with my mom at my mom's house. I just couldn't function. My son comes to me all the time. He wants me to be happy. You know, when my best friend's fiance passed away, he woke me up every night for a year. He would be in my room. You got to call her because you can hear me and she can't. You got to see, and it was, I learned uh, so much about the other side. And I know they want us to be happy, but it feels like a betrayal to let yourself be happy,
I
even
know.
though that's the goal.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's like this big thing this torment and torture that you put yourself through. And they
Because
just
they are not sad. They want you to be happy. And for them, it's like a blink and then you're going to be there. But it doesn't, I remember I went to a psychic, a medium, to make contact with my dad, and I remember her looking at me and she was like, "Tell me one good thing that happened from your dad's death." And it was like, "Are you out of your mind? Like, at what point do you ever get far enough to go, the silver lining is there is none?"
No.
That's an
Not there.
incredibly inappropriate question to ask somebody who's grief stricken,
Yep.
because there isn't. There isn't a silver line.
yeah, no more suffering for him, and you suffer. I know, and I hate to see you suffer.
Julie, can I put you in touch with Joe?
Please. Oh, that would be awesome. Because you would love her. If you talk to her, you will love her. Everybody loves Julie.
Will
She's
you email me your email and I'm going to connect you message to Joe? Joe, there's something about him. Like, there's lots, he's not a psychic. You're not going to go to him to make contact. None of this. There's something about him that just, he has a mission in life because his son works with him to make this mission happen. And
but
it's
she's in the
amazing.
paranormal field too, so she understands all
She
that,
understands all
things
that.
like this goes. Yeah. So
Grief is just, it's a different beast. And I, those the loss is so massive that it's even hard to like I have to
mm,
clear my body quickly because it can be so debilitating.
right. Like
It's a
when
different
my
kind of
husband,
grief.
yeah, my husband died. I didn't have time to grieve. I really I couldn't, because he was I had two businesses and he had a business, and that was our life. So I was a designer. I would design buildings. He had a construction company. He would build them. I had a cleaning company. So and the design again comes in. So I would design it. He'd build it. I'd come in. I'd do the finish work, and then I'd clean it up. And it was like a big, huge team. So when he died, that was a huge part of my team gone. But I had to close his business. I had to close out all the things that were happening with him. We didn't have anything set up for him. You know, um, it was just like I had to go into full blown survival work mode, get a funeral, do this, do that, and then try to survive in that house, which was very expensive for me alone, you know, because we put a lot into the house. So we refinanced everything, had huge payments. So I was working day in, day in, day and night, day and night, day and night, just to afford that mortgage. It was insane. And I was killing myself, quite literally, and taking care of the house. And the house was big property and freaking leaves all the time. And the snow was, 10 feet freaking high. and I had a long driveway and getting rid of all these people used to watch videos of me trying to get rid of this stuff and bitching about it the whole time. But it broke me. It broke me. And then to the point it broke me physically. You're trying to physical work and then physical do that house. I just couldn't. I did it to the point where I'll never recover. I still have not recovered from that, but I still haven't really grieved either for the loss of my husband properly. I know that, and it's tough. So that again, when I see this chapter in here on grief, and it's like,
skip it.
I want to do that, but
Visit later.
Not now.
To be visited when you're ready, which is, that's the other thing about healing is the more permission that you're given to take your time, the more that you'll want to shift some things, because, and when your body finally releases, you're going to have a release that's like the sheets are going to be wet from all the tears and the sweat and the getting out of your body. But, grief it doesn't leave. You just learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
And then you try to learn how to live well, but it doesn't leave. And we don't want it to, because I know for me, I don't want to let go of any of the memories, and the associations and things like that. But it's healing is so all encompassing, but it doesn't mean that we change the trajectory.
Right. And Mama, how do you remove that?
I'm doing that as we speak.
Okay, because I wrote it down too. I wrote down
Yeah.
an email just so not everyone has their email too. Okay, so I was not listening.
Oh, I know. No.
For her, for Julie, and
Yes, Joe McQuillan is he's a special. It's funny. I had him on my show. That's how I met him.
but I was just thinking we should have him on the show.
You should definitely have him on your show. You should 100% have him on your show. That's how I met him. I love him so much.
Connect him.
Yeah.
There.
He's spectacular, and he's got a new book coming out right now. We're not done yet. It just came out, and he is.
Although I'm booking
I just love him. I love him. I would love to meet him in person because he's so special. And like I said, my friend lost her daughter, and I put her in touch with Joe. And Joe's favorite place is Siesta Key in Florida. And my friend and I went to Siesta Key, and we collected sand, and we were going to send it to him. And he's like, "I already have the sand. Don't give it to somebody else that needs it." And he's just this really. And he sent her the book immediately and signed it. And it's just there's something about he's magic. You just wait. There's just something about him that's very. He's been gifted. He's been gifted with something in this grief that's really important. So when he comes on, Julie, please listen to his show.
Everything for a reason, right? Everything always happens for a reason. She's watching this show right now for this, for you.
She is. She's watching it so I can, and I say this, I think I told you this. I'm a matchmaker for healing. That's what I do. It's not, I'm not into the body work process anymore. People ask all the time, don't you want to be at work now? No, I don't. I have a different calling. It's a different level. I write and I help, but my calling is that I am a really great matchmaker for healing, where people can email me and this is what's going on, and then I sit with it and go, you know what? I would call these people. It's not ever. That's the difference, though, because a lot of times when you get stuck in your own thing where it's you have to make money, then you go, you should come see me. You should come see me. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And instead, it's like, oh, you know what? Don't call me. But here's who I would call.
This is exactly what me and Mama D are trying to do with this show.
Exactly.
Get people like you to help. Even if we can help just one person, our job is done. But we want to help as many as possible.
See, now, Mama D, you go to the TCM. Julie, you go talk to Joe. Make a new friend.
You go to acupuncture, and then I'm gonna, hop on the next.
You got this done.
I got that. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of things. And then, and I know to stay away from leeches.
Look in your freezer first.
Don't say route.
Don't say route.
So long as you don't tell her about spiders, we're good.
And I don't do spiders so much.
Good little tidbits that we learned.
She sleeps with a vacuum because of them.
Oh, freaking spiders. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. I can't. I love them.
It was like every single day. Every single day.
I feel that way about snakes. And now I live in a country where there's no poisonous snakes. I mean, come on. St.
What?
Paul took
No,
out all the
all right,
poison.
but wait.
They
what
just
is
took out the
what
poison.
is
They
the
didn't take out the snakes.
No, there is snakes here, but they're not poisonous.
But what's
I
the
like snakes.
temperature?
The
Yeah.
temperature is not as fabulous as you'd think. It's great in the summer, but it's turned cold really fast, which is why I have this cold because my body's like, whoa. 2 weeks ago, I was in the pool. It was hotter than Hades. Now I'm like so cold. I've got my winter stuff coming back out. And in September, you get more rain in September than the whole rest of the show.
Well, you'll be in
Yes.
touch with him before I will actually to book him on the show because again, like I said, I'm booking next May. That's when I'm booking my next availables. That's how far.
No.
Yeah.
But we could make a special show for him if he would do a special night with us. Beforehand, so we'd do 2 shows in a week.
If you guys will do that, honestly, they need to meet, but you need to see him. He's really a very special
Julie,
soul.
is I would set it up like if you wanted to talk to him and actually physically see him, Julie, I would use this venue and I would give him a link. I would give you a link. We can come into this room. You guys can talk. I can leave the room. You guys can sit here and talk. You don't have to go live
Yeah.
or anything. We could talk. Like,
And we can record it for them so that she can have it.
yeah, it could be a recorded thing. It could be we have a page that's just me and Mama D.
But if you put him on, though, I want him on too because he's got a new book.
yeah,
And
I
he
would like
Oh,
is
yeah.
trying to really get his message out big. So there's double that because he really is.
but
I mean,
I'm-
I have the book here. I have My Search for Christopher on the other side here. It's one of the few books I brought to Malta. I only brought like one cubby of books because as you host a show, you get book after book all the time, and I only brought one cubby of books, and his is on.
Gina gets all the books because up here in Canada, it costs too much to ship things to me in Canada.
To me too.
So she gets all that. She gets all. I might get some PDFs here, and then I go shopping because I just looked at the list of your top three books, and one of them's out of stock.
Which one?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books over there that I just got delivered. I haven't even opened the packages yet.
I really miss getting books. I won't lie. That I miss because now people just send it on PDF, which makes me do nothing because I hate reading on the computer.
I
I'm
can't. stand
like,
it.
don't even bother. I'm not even gonna open it. I think
Yeah.
we'll just have a good random conversation, but I can't. I like it in my hands. Except like I said, this one on audio is awesome.
Yeah,
It
she
is
likes the
really
audio.
well done.
Mama likes the audiobooks.
It's really well done.
I like it if it's,
I do audio because what I'll do is like if I have only the PDF, sometimes they'll send me the audio as well. But if I'll do both. So if I can have the audio in my ear and I can follow along in the PDF, it's almost as good as having a book in your hand. But
well, I do like craft stuff over here, and it's like a lot of times I wish I had a book.
how
on
deep the body heals itself is out of stock.
The Body Heals itself is out of stock. Is that Amazon Canada?
Yeah.
Oh,
In total, the whole package, the 3 of them, would cost me about $100. But the body heals itself is now out of stock.
In America, it's like 30 for the 3.
Yeah, well, you figure
Oh
it's,
no.
it's
well,
a time and a half
I
in
have to
Canadian, right?
get all kinds of stuff for her, put it in one box, and send it to her.
Yeah, she's building me up a care
Yes.
package.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love you, Julie.
Julie, I'm going to put you in touch with Joe. I think I just love him. I think he's I think he's like a walking light. He's so fabulous. And I love that he's a person that didn't come from the new agey background. And now he's like, it changed. I didn't come from the new age background before my friend's fiance would wake me up every night, and it was like, I became such a different person and people in my life didn't grow with me. And that was hard.
Oh, she says she can't wait.
I mean, I'll email you. I mean, if you send me, you can chat or whatever, and I'll put you in touch with him right now before I go back to bed. Since it is 4 o'clock in the morning in Malta, I got to get my children to school in 2-3 hours.
God.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So you guys will talk. I'll get her your the email.
Yeah, you can pass along my information. You can go right to my website, healingourselveswhole.com, and you can shoot me an email and I'll put you right in with Joe, put you on with him. And that's what he's doing now. He's helping people that are grieving. So there's no, you will hear from him immediately.
Beautiful.
He's just so special.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
I love
much.
this with the fox and the heart and the butterfly. So you're the heart of, obviously. There's no little
On the
cherry
butterfly.
cake down there.
I'm the fox.
Emoji. No, I'm the
No,
fox.
Gina's the
Oh,
fox.
you're the fox.
You're the fox then.
Come here, Heidi.
I'm the fox.
Heidi, where are you? Come here, Heidi.
Do you have a little
Heidi.
fox?
No, she's got a fox face. Come here. Come here.
Oh,
Oh, Lordy.
Come here.
ooh.
Come here.
Come on, puppy. You can do it. Come on. Oh, yes, you do. Oh,
Oh, what a
oh,
face.
you're too beautiful.
Is that a
baby.
corgi?
She's a corgi.
Oh my God. Oh, look at you.
She's got the little corgi booty.
She did the corgi booty? Oh, my God, that's adorable. Now, see, that's the next kind of dog. When you're ready for a new dog, Gina, that's what you should get. A corgi? Oh, my God.
She is a fox face.
potato.
And when she's excited, she looks like the Tasmanian devil. She'll give you the side eye and this
I
big
love
smile.
I
You
love
can
it.
hear her. She sounds like a pot-belly pig. That's why I got her. But she grunts too.
Oh, Julie says this is a great show, and then she'll cry
Mm.
for her son every night, and it breaks my heart every time I see you post something about this. My heart just breaks, and I always said I got to find someone that's going to help Julie, and thank God you're it. You're the
Yeah,
miracle.
this
Hope
will be
so.
it.
You're
I
the-
hope so. It's just he's just I can't even he was gifted. He has a very specific mission in life now. And that's what he does. And my cat's not allowed. Not that she's not allowed in. I just can't get up and open. So she's in the window like,
Oh, the dog's
are
in there,
you
and I'm
kidding?
not.
You have Heidi and Kaya in there. And the other dog's asleep with Daddy in the bed. He's like, I'll see you when you wake.
What is
I mean,
going on over
we
here?
took all these animals across the world to Malta. And I was so lucky with that because when my husband came home and said, "Hey, we can move to Malta," and I said, "Oh my God, please don't make me choose. Please don't make me choose between my pets." And he was like, "Are you kidding? They're family. No, they're all coming."
Yeah, of course they come in. Of course
Yeah,
they
so
Yeah.
they did.
And they can't ride in cargo either. I'd be like, no, I'll give
No,
up my
only the
seat.
cat. The cat flew with me. She became a therapy cat, so we could get her on the flight. And then the other three showed up 10 days later. My babies, traumatized, very traumatized, and then
All right,
happy.
so look at, we're down to like 3 minutes left here, and I have on my list of questions here the last one.
Which kind of went out there. But it
What
was
is
good.
it?
When it says, I understand that you have a special giveaway for people that pre-order the book, and what are those? That's what's on here that was sent to me by.
Marianne?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the book came out in May, so
I know.
pre-orders are long since gone.
Yeah.
And the audio giveaways, you know what? The audio giveaways were already given away, but let's do some audios, and I'm sure my publisher will send me more links.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they're only through Audible, so I always hate giving them away because you have to have an Audible account.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Hey, you know what though? If someone one person benefits, just one. You know?
Okay, let's do an audio, and go from there. And whoever. I don't even know how you do it because I'm in Malta, so I can give away nothing. So now it's my publisher and my publicist because it's
I
out
got
of my
some
hands. But I can get you some audio links.
Okay.
Hey, I mean, but they got to order something to get that, right? So, I mean, but also though, I mean, you do have links to meditations and such as you're going through here.
Those are all free.
Yeah, all these.
Every meditation in that book. And that's the difference. So the book in audio is read by Stina Nielsen, but on my website, healingourselveswhole.com, the audios are by me. So you actually, and it's with a hypnotherapist producer. So the music's fantastic. And that's me taking you through. So if you listen to me tonight and then you like my voice and think, oh, I actually want to do it with you, you can go. And the journals that follow it are also free on the website. So you can download them and print them out. So do the meditations, listen to your body, listen to the messages, and write your stuff down. But again, this book is not, you don't have to read it cover to cover. So pick where you're at. If you want to focus on the positive, go there.
Yeah, because this is definitely one that, this is staying with me. This is one of my
So in other words, it's not going to be in my care package. I got it.
Nope. Sorry. Nope. Get your own.
I'm trying.
That one just finally released in Europe. It took forever.
Oh wow.
But I need the other ones.
We'll
Real.
get two of the one that's short and
Autographed ones. But
You know, you could always contact Llewellyn for the other ones and ask for a copy and then put me back on for those.
cool. I would love to.
Because they'll send the copy just to do a show. That's how that works. You know
Honestly,
that.
God, you could be on like every single week. We'd have no problem. We would have
Yep.
nothing.
Well,
no
she
work.
may not be able let her be on every month. But this way she catches up on her sleep.
2 a.m.
With us all night long.
I know. Well, we could back it up a couple hours maybe for you, make it midnight.
You know, I'm just so glad to be here. I really am. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for having me. And people that are listening, if you want to reach out, I'm really good about getting back in touch. So if there is something I can do to be of service, I will be very happy to do that. So
go to her website, shoot her an email. If you have questions, if you want to know where to go, this girl
I'm
shares.
a great matchmaker. I really am. It's what I'm good at.
That's a beautiful thing. All right, so we hang with us for a minute. All right, we're out. We will see you all next week. I don't know who the guest is, but it'll be someone good. I don't know if it's going to be as good as Emily, but
it'll be better than last week's show. We didn't have her.
That's a good competition. That's like my gold medal in Tai Chi forms. It's like that. It's like that kind of
little Miss next door says, "Would you be mad at me? I'm not feeling well." I said, "Excuse me. Will I be mad if you cancel? I'll be mad if you don't cancel the show. Good night, everybody." Just Gina. I posted. I said, one of us is physically ill, and one of us is mentally ill.
Yeah.
Guess who's who? Yep, I heard.
There you go.
Yep. Even though you did give me the pointers, but hang with us. All right, guys, we're gonna be out and
see everybody next week. That'll be good.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.